Prem Svalabindravan Biharilala ki Jai. Sitaram everybody, and welcome to another night Satsang as we celebrate the departed Geeta Harnarine, that soul. This is the 7th month of monthly Satsang. Tonight, as we do this course, we continue into another monthly Satsang with this family as they pray on behalf of the soul. Now there are many people who are going through loss, grief. Some are anxious, filled with anxiety and panic because of the precarious situation they have in their family with health and loved ones, not being able to see them. Tonight we pray on their behalf as well. I was asked a question, and that guided me to do this discourse tonight. Tonight we are going to listen to a discourse of Krishna Bhagwan that deals with something he alluded to, something that we are going through right now. As he was telling Nanda Baba, we need to leave this place. Sometimes when I'm doing discourse like Govardhan Mountain, when he was a child, when he was eating for the first time, the different sanskars that were done, we know those discourses. But tonight, let me ask you this. As a Hindu, in your best recollection, what happens to Radha Devi, Nanda Baba, Yashoda, all these people? We know there's a point in Bhagavad where, and it's given here in this Brahmavaivat Puran as well, where Dwarka is going into the ocean. The chariot is going back to the heavenly regions. Arjun and all the people, the ladies of Dwarka, they have left to go to Prabhas. But Krishna is going to give up the form that he has with the two-handed form, this form, at the feet, at the root of a peepal tree that is growing jam, the Yamuna river. That is what Bhagavad has. But there is no mention in Bhagavad what happens to Nanda and all the people of Gokul. Why am I talking about it? Because in that same Bhagavad Puran, in Mahabharata as well, we are told about the tears that Devaki cries for her children. Before, when Vasudeva had done great yagya, this is after they come out of the jail cell, Kans is no longer alive. He does a great yag, and Krishna and Balram come to eat, and they bless their father and give him all forms of knowledge and teachings. And in that time, Devaki gets very angry at Krishna. You love your guru Sandapani, you love your father, but you don't love this mother. I have lived to see every child, the 6 of them, their heads bashed in by my brother. The 7th one was not there. And the 8th one, you, dark-skinned boy, Sham Sundar, you have never been able to drink milk from my body. As a woman, I'm born with breasts, but in this life, I never was able to breastfeed my children. And in that discourse, we hear how Krishna goes to pacify that mother, and he goes to Patalok, meets with somebody named Bali, and he brings back the souls of his the first 6 brother that she had given birth, but Kans had destroyed them. And in the moment, the milk started to flow from her body, and she was able to feed them, and by the touch of that milk, they got liberation. Then we hear in Mahabharata in particular, that when Krishna is no longer there, and Yudhishthir brings the news, Arjun tells Yudhishthir, Yudhishthir comes to tell Vasudeva and Devaki. Again she bawls, she cries, what sin did I do as a parent to witness or to hear that my child has died? What is the cause of all this karma, Prabhu, today? And she starts to bawl. Vasudeva closes his eyes. he knows Balaram and he knows Krishna are no longer there. And with that grief, the both of them give up this life. That is how Devaki and Vasudeva, in a nutshell, that is how they die. But we don't hear about Nanda and Yashoda. Now, in previous satsang, I had read who were Devaki and Vasudeva before. Who was Nanda, Yashoda, Rohini before? And the answer for the pain and what we will hear tonight is rooted in karma. It is rooted in karma. Bad things are happening to people truthfully because of our karma. And when we are finished with our discourse in Brahma Puran, before we finish tonight, we're going to touch on some words at the end of the Pret Manjari in Garud Puran that guide you and I. Because right now, we need to take stock. There are some people celebrating and living as usual. And nothing is wrong with that when the place is usual and normal, if you understand what I mean. Is this the time to really rush to do the Boxing Day sale? Under normal circumstance, steal off a deal, capitalize on the deal. I probably would have been in the line next to you, truthfully. But when you change the parameters of the game, then as you will hear in a little bit from Garud Puran, we have to make sensible decisions when it comes to our body and our life. And in a little bit we'll talk about that. For now, before we listen to the words of Krishna, let's pray a little bit. Please, I invite you to join your hands. I don't care if home by you if everything is good. I know some people are sad. I know some people are worried. Let's pray together. If everything is good at home, let's pray a little harder to make sure it's good. And tonight, all of us are coming together. If you're watching it on the repeat, if you're watching me live, for the family in Durban, South Africa, Sitaram, I'm sure you'll watch this by tomorrow. For those of you watching all over the world, let's pray together. Om Karvustulatom Gajendavarnam Lambodaram Sundaram Prashpandam Madugandhyalobhya Madupam Bhyalola Gandastalam Danta Gata Vitarita Dhidurire Sindur Shovakaram Vande Shaila Sudha Sudam Ganapatim Siddhipradam Kamadat Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Swaha Swadhana Mostute Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatakripatamaham Vande Paramanandam Madhavam Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Ruddha Marutastum Vandi Divyaistave Vedai Sangha Pradokramo Pranishadai Gayantiyam Samaga Dhyana Vastra Taragate Namansa Pashyantiyam Yogino Yashyantam Navidurisura Suraganadi Devaya Tasmai Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Anadini Dano Deva Shankachakra Gadadhara Akshay Pundari Kaksham Preta Muksha Pradobhavam Vindravan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. If you're coming in late again, Sitaram, if you now joined us, we're doing the 7 monthly satsang for Auntie Geeta, Harnarine. She died, and her family, together with myself, have been doing monthly satsangs, reading from Garud Puran and various texts to bring out and bring forward teachings and things that will pull on your thoughts, make you think a little bit, as you will hear tonight. Tonight we're reading from Brahma Puran, Krishna Janam Khan. I'm on chapter 128. and then we'll do chapter 16 Garud Puran in the Pret Manjari. Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Narayan Vishnu, Hari Vishnu is speaking to Narad Muni that at one point Krishna, the emperor of Dwarka, so he's grown, he's married Rukmani by now, he comes to look for Nanda Baba, who was still in the hills of Vrindavan. They had remained there. And Krishna, when he comes, all the cow herders, all of them come under this huge banyan tree, in the Bandhara forest, the same place where all the women used to come and feed him. Radhika Devi, she sits to the left hand side of him, and Yashoda comes on the right hand side. Vishwabhana, Nanda, Kalavati, mother of Radha when she was on the earth, all of them come to listen to what he has come to see. All the female cowherdesses, his cowherder friends, now he grown, married, families of their own, relatives, friends, everybody started to take seats, and they wanted to hear what their beloved Shyam Sundar had come to say. Krishna speaking to Nanda, Shrunu Nanda pravakshami sanpratam samayog chitam satyam cha param tapa cha paraloko mukha vahanam. O Nanda, O Daddy, in other words, kindly listen to me. I shall now speak out the appropriate words that is suited for this time, which are truthful, beneficial, and will bestow pleasure after death. All the creatures, from the blade of grass to Brahma, these are perishable, like lightning in the cloud, there one moment, gone the next. Everything that we look at, the mountains, the sky, the waterways, these are like the lines we draw in the water, let's say the river or something, for children to understand. Imagine you cut the water, whether with a sharp cutlass, your finger, whatever, go back and find that line for me. That line is gone. And just so, take it from me, dear Father, all these things are temporary. One moment here, next moment it is gone. I have already mentioned this in the company of Ugrasene. That is his Nana from Devaki's father, Kan's father. In the court of Mathura, I spoke out about this, and I left nothing out. In the forest where only banana trees grows, Radha, and he points to her, had told Yashoda Devi about this. Now in the course of our discourse, I will be highlighting something called Ekadasi. It is Radha who teaches about time. She, in different discourse, has, when she's missing Krishna, when she's in trouble and she wants to see him, Yashoda and Nanda at different points bring calm and peace to her. And in those moments, she teaches them, she gives them as a gift the knowledge of the universe. And in that conversation between Radha and Yashoda, Radha described how do we check when you hear Pandits are talking about the Paksha and the moon and the month and this Tithi and that Tithi, Shivratri coming for 2 days, today is not that day, today is this day. All those rules came from Radhika Devi as she gave it out like a secret. It is completely truthful and removes the darkness of illusion. This knowledge that I am giving you now, that Radha had given you before, and I spoke with my family in Mathura about, is serving like a light that is giving you the opportunity to make the choices so that you will be able to come out of any false illusion or holding on to any type of stupid or false type of doctrine. Therefore, with that knowledge, you will be able to disown all these illusionary attachments and get yourself devoted towards the final eternal abode. When you get the knowledge and you understand what it is, which is what we want to brace yourself tonight with, then it gives you the ability to make better decisions. Imagine I'm a 3-year-old child. There's a deer there. I don't know the dangers of it. It looks pretty. I'm going to put my finger in it and burn my hand. But when I get that knowledge, I get the knowledge, am I going to do it again? No. I know now that is not good for me. However, as we will discuss, there are many instances where things are not good for us and we do not want to give it up. We do not want to do it out, or we don't want to continue seeking it out. And we'll go through some when we reach to the Garb Puran. That stage allows a person relives birth, death, old age, bestows pleasure, removes the greed, suffering, destruction of the roots, destroying the roots of all the deeds. That knowledge is so great. It can give a person to come out of that birth and death cycle. It could give a person the ability to find fulfillment, contentment, and then burn away the karma. In a previous chapter in Garb Puran, where the soul, and I wanted to read this for the Harnarine family in months to come, what really happens at the end of the year? What happens at the end of the year? Where does the soul go? And the text talks about the house of Yamraj. So the first thing, as the person is entering, depending on the quality of the person, they have a different experience, but they all have to pass a certain set of workers of Yamraj. Those workers are the disease. Where does disease come from? I don't know about other religion, but our religion explains it very clear. Standing in the courtyard of the property, then, just as you come in the inner wall of Yamraj place, they stand and they look at you. Rheumatism, cholera, a few others are named. We'll go through it when I reach there. But the disease, like a spirit, like a human form, are the emissaries and the workers of Yamraj. And depending on your karma, you are going to enjoy this disease rather than that, or vice versa. Some people have a breathing problem, some people have a sight problem, some people have skin ailments. Karma brings that. How does God say, okay, let's just rehash some of the points we did before. How does God say, you know what, you are going to have a long and healthy life, no major sort of trouble, God bless you. But your grandson, unfortunately, your grandson is going to have this problem, that problem, you name it. And just like Devaki and Vasudev, you live to see the younger one die. How does God, if God is God, how does God arbitrate and say you will have this and this one will not have this problem? How many parents right now have to deal with a funeral and they're wondering, why did God leave me to live? And you're taking my child and I cannot handle this. This knowledge that we're about to disseminate is what is going to help, because we need to realize the times we are in. The times we are in. Beating the floor, condemning God, you'll hear about it. It's there. And the question somebody asked me, and this is why I'm reading this, what could you do? I'm going through this existence, I'm in a trap, yes. What is the trap? The karmic trap. I did bad, so I come here to receive the rewards, good or bad. I'm at the mercy of the destiny, the patra, the horoscope, the God. It is as if I have no control. Do you control who is going to get sick? You're not looking for trouble, and trouble comes to you in a car accident, losing your job at a time like this. You can't dream to go and do the Boxing Day sale. How much of our life are you really in charge of? Your life, my life. We could wish for it. Do you win the lotto every week? Think about it like that. He says, but the knowledge that we are about to talk about destroys the root of this karma that is plain. First step. Mameva param brahma bhagavantam satyatanam dhanya putra buddhi tvaya kavalabham parampara. Taking me to be the supreme Brahman, you should devote your mind, your life, removing the feeling that I am your son. Now remember, he's talking to his father, Nanda. Remove the feeling that I am your son and focus on achieving the eternal abode. The time for Kali Yuga is coming. Which means the time is going to become hard and very harsh. Therefore, all of you, together with the residents of Gokul, should leave now to go to Golok, my Lok, Krishna's Lok, the heavenly place. This is what he came to tell them. Don't stay here and see the trouble. Remember, Krishna has at this time reached a point he destroyed. Dirty Mata called him in the first place to remove the weight of unrighteousness. Yada, Hidharmasya. I will come again and again when unrighteousness is on the up and righteousness is on the decline. However, what he realized was they destroyed everybody. But the people in his own family and the adjoining family, and this one married that one and this, so the family starts to grow. They started to be very haughty. You can't touch me. My uncle is Krishna. You can't touch me. The king will kill him. And in this way, they started to be the bad now because they were out of control. There's nobody to keep them in check. Excuse. So he resolves to Balaram that, and I'm recalling Bhagavad here. He says we have to now destroy our own family. This is fast forwarded by Samba, the son of Krishna, asking a Muni a disrespectful question, and the arrow that is going to be shot into his foot is made. Long story short. But he does not want that pain to affect these people. In Kali Yuga, Dad, understand what is coming. There are no rules for man nor woman. There are no limitations for what men or women can and would not do to one another. There will be no rules for caste, so nobody will know their duty. Nobody would have a sense of morality, community service, service to elders. These things will start to erode. The Pandits will not perform their sandhya, and they would not wear the Yagyopavit or the Janevu. Sometimes they will wear the Yagya Sutra and the Tilak. Yagya Sutra, for those of you who know, when you have Yag in your property, when you have in your temple, and the Vyas is coming, you have to install him on the Singhasan. So that is where you put him on the Singhasan and you wash his feet, take out perfume, all that. One of the things that you do is you tie him, like how we just say the Raksha. Imagine, usually more than the cotton, they would use a piece of cloth like. And they tie Baba hand there. And what that means is, when we put the tilak, we respect you, God bless you, get through, read the yag. But we tie you to see out, you are now responsible, you are tied to this yagya. So that you must see out the yag. He says people would wear the Yagya Sutra, the tilakam, but would deprive others of religious duties. They would not fast properly. They would not allow people to take part in worship. They would not encourage the community to come together, like how we used to have panchauti, yag and so on. The yagya, the vrat, performing tapasya, these things will disappear. Dharma would start to erode and disappear totally from the earth because of the curse of the daughter of Kedar. Another night I'll read that discourse for you. Why is Kali Yuga so bad? Let me give you an example. My little note here. 6:43 a.m. Trinidad time tomorrow morning is an Ekadasi Tithi. It becomes the 11th day in the month, and it is the day to worship Lord Vishnu. This particular Ekadasi again comes once for the year. And what's the benefit if I do Vishnu's worship? By doing his puja, offering mango, bananas, anar, there's something else, another fruit, coconut. Do your normal Vishnu puja, chandan, perfume, all these things. Do a little Gayatri jap, abstain from the beans and all that. The person who is under a lot of grief. So this is the answer. What could we do? The grief, the anxiety. You overcome those things. That's the blessings. That's that by doing that vrat tomorrow, you are able to see yourself lift off. For if you lost somebody and you could imagine what some people are going through right now. Here is one possible answer. You get the blessings of Mahavishnu if you're praying on behalf of somebody, whether they are fighting in the hospital, a miracle is possible. If they are passed away, you're praying for the welfare of the soul. The vrats, they're going to be eroded. Truthfully, between me and you, truthfully, how many people are going to get up tomorrow, looking at the time, the end of the month, in this year, how many people are going to wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm going to offer my jal to Lord Vishnu, I want to offer my hawan. But we're going through problems. Let's continue. We'll come into that. The husband would be ruled by the woman, who could be independent, but she will insult her husband. She will denounce him throughout the day, throughout the night, public. The woman would become the head of the family, and they would have more importance, as the man would lose his role, his importance, his figure, meaning as a leader in the home. And you're seeing it in today. We have more splitting single parent homes now than at any other time. Children don't have that male figure. Children start off nice and lovely, all are cute. And when they become adolescent, mommy can't tell me what to do again. The poor lady is going to work, she's trying. How much could she do on alone? I mean, all parents here, a father and a mother struggle to deal with a toddler, to deal with an adolescent, to deal with a young man who wants to tell you he's in love with a 40-year-old woman and he must be free to do what he wants. Any parent would fight with that. Put the girl alone now. With this falling of the family, the breaking of the family structure, all men would be under the influence of women. Not from a sensible perspective, but most of the time sensual, sexual perspective. They become entangled, entwined in that. And that guides their every decision. Because there are no longer principles to guide. You know, we should do this, we should be this way. It is a free fall. It becomes as if it were anything can happen. Without consequence, let's do it any old way. In fact, with the fall of the rules and principles, people would become more immoral. A man or woman would serve their lover more than their committed partner 10-1. A woman would serve her food to her husband with anger, and in the same day serve her lover with side glances and sight filled with nectar, as it were. In our Dharma, that sounds strange, but in our Dharma, it talks about the art of cooking and serving food to the guests. Much more for the guests. Forget the guests. Your own people. The energy of the cook is transmitted into that food. This is why we bhog lagawe, we bless that food, we offer it to the fire. All these things is to charge that food with goodness and health and happiness. So that, let's say it's a wedding, it's a prayers, and the congregation is going to eat. We want you to eat and feel the blessings. But suppose the cook is an angry person, unhappy person, etc. Then that is what you're sharing. And it brings about problems. She would look at her husband as if he's poison. And the same woman would be attracted to another. Likewise, men would do things that focus the lover and subjugate or harm, hurt or hinder the wife and the children. In the age of Kali Yuga, adoration of guests, what we was now talking about, the way you speak to people, the way you invite people, the way you honor your guests, depending on who they are, that goes out the door. It's so funny. What's the biggest problem we have with COVID? For many people, I can't have people over. I can't have the satsang how I want it. I can't have the type of wedding I wanted. I can't have any. It's Christmas time, and I can't have nobody over. I remember growing up. I don't know what Christmas was for you. What that Christmas holiday is, you know. When we came out of school, we used to rush up by my grandmother, and the idea you grew up with was everybody's baking, trying something to make it vegetarian, and cake don't collapse, and who cake didn't come out good, and all that. That was your fun. It wasn't always about gift and the commercialization. You're grateful for whatever you get, but the fact that you knew that neighbor and this one come in, and we got Margo pack she little cake, and she got make something for everybody. That was, you know, that was the big thing. No, we don't have that. Even prior to COVID, you might blame the cost of everything, but the village love, the family, you know, the neighbors. Many people don't even know their neighbors, and they don't live good with their neighbors, and Lord Krishna's words are coming to pass. The adoration of the guests goes out the door. Worship for the Pitras, worship the Mahavishnu, the Devatas, that goes out the door as well. Slowly it becomes less and less important. People become very envious of God, and they become like an enemy to Lord Vishnu. They might take up different. Vamcharya talks about a science where you do nothing, where you accept it how it comes. It's my karma, I'm going to do that. I'm going to accept that. People remain under the influence of people who have no good, no advice. So these people in the Kali Yuga will never subscribe to touch a shaligram, bow by a tulsi plant, use kush grass when they are doing jap, prayer, or any type of activity. Use water from the Ganga. It is as if these purifying objects. And what is it purifying? Why do you use tulsi, kush, Ganga, jal, etc.? It purifies the deeds, the karma, just by touching it. Why do you blow the sank? To rid negative energy and to purify the environment of negativity just by listening to it. Likewise, these things will slowly start to dwindle. The bestower of mukti or liberation, he does not gain popularity. he does not gain influence in this time. Instead, people start to look at other lesser methodology that eventually would want to kill away the Veda. It is too difficult to do the vrat, to listen to the discourses. It becomes too problematic. Isn't there some simpler way? And if we read, we say, for example, Buddha, from the Buddhist faith, we consider that to be an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. I've read this. It's on YouTube on my channel. But do you realize that we don't worship, we don't arati, we don't have a Buddha murti in our temples? Vishnu Puran says that Lord Vishnu takes that form to destroy a guy, and how he did it was, the guy was a real strong devotee. The guy did his prayers religiously, but when he got his blessings, he would do bad, but then he would go back and pray. So every time God came to jam him, couldn't touch him because he's protected. So the solution was distract him from his prayer. Break his focus. Break his beliefs, his vishwas, that when I do this, it will work. So from Lord Vishnu makes a split, comes Adi Vishnu, what became Buddha, goes to propagate a new religion. That is so easy. You don't have to do all that fasting and all this and that and the other. Give up certain things. The king did it, and it brought destruction upon him. Why does, and that discourse, and I'm giving it in a nutshell, why does that discourse matter? This is why Hindus don't condemn other religion. Adi Vishnu was ready to come back into the body of Mahavishnu, and he says, wait, you stay upon the earth and continue to pull out people who do not have the karma to come to me, Lord Vishnu. Let me say that again. He sends on the earth different prophets, different religion, propagating different sciences of reaching to God. Different activities, easier, better for you. Just, ask for forgiveness. Just say sorry and you will be forgiven, etc., etc. And if the person does not have the karma to come to Mahavishnu, gain the mukti, the whole shabang of Vaikuntha and all that, then let them follow you. Let them go into a meager road, an easier road. Maybe they will understand the simpler road. And one day they will die and they will born back and they will wash themselves. We'll go through that just now, Gurpran. And they'll wash themselves of some ailments. And then they will come back again and they will go until they are ready to be born in a Sanatan Dharma home, where they know this form and they will be able to reach to the heights. Because nobody says it's easy. This is why we don't condemn other people's religion. God made you a Christian, God made you a Muslim, maybe that is where your level is, that is where you are at. Follow your road. Be a good Christian, my brother, be a good Muslim brother, and see where it reaches you. We don't go on the road and placard, okay, do these prayers and join Hinduism. To be born a Sanatanist, it has to come not only from your genetics, it has to come from your karma, which makes the genetics. Let me say that again. The karma makes the genetics, and the genetics is what gives you the color of your skin, the expressions of your hair texture, your eye color, etc. Your inners in terms of your blood type, etc. Your weakness towards a disease, your weakness towards cancer, whatever. That is your genes, and that genes or that predisposition to good and bad comes from your karma. So when a person is born now into a home where a mother will teach, hello, Ekadasi, come in, light it and fast, come on. As opposed to a home where eat hog, eat dog, eat everything. Don't worry. You don't have to study that. Think about the parentage. Think about the gurus, the people that make you who you are. Is that by chance? These things come from great effort on your part. Because you earn what you have. Truthfully. This is why we don't. You want to leave? No problem. You want to come? No problem. We practice a very laid back approach because Geeta says, You don't condemn or criticize when a person knows less. When a person says, this is God, okay, if that is how you view God, fine. I might see God as here, but that doesn't mean you know what you're saying. You don't insult and belittle and break people. You build them up. You have other ways you could think about it. Imagine, let me just put it in a different way for you. Imagine God is God, and God is high as the sky and wide as the ocean, but God could only live in my temple. God cannot live 5 feet off that temple wall. God could only live in certain places. God cannot live everywhere. God is not seen as a plant. God cannot be an animal. God is only for one color, for only some people, not for everybody. But God made everybody. Let me go one step further. God is for everybody. But if you don't think like me, or you don't pray like me, or if you don't eat like me, God didn't make you. People apply those things from a sexual level, racial level, prejudicial level, you name it. These processes, these things that are placed here in Kali Yuga to distract a person would become more prevalent. The eternal goddess, Bhagavati, who is also called Vishnu Maya, would deprive not only the Brahmanas, but many people of devotion. So as the karma starts to become more and more tough, the person is not going to, let's go and pray. No, it have other things to do that become, paramount, priority. In the age of Kali Yuga, Nanda Baba, I would be continued to be honored on this earth for 10,000 years. And in that time, Ganga will flow on the earth for 5,000 years in Kali Yuga. Till such time the Ganga is flowing on the earth, the Tulsi plant, devotion to Lord Vishnu, reciting of Puranas, it will continue. But oh, Lord of Vraj, of Vrindavan, no one would recite my name forever. In this age of Kali Yuga, the Bhilas, the wicked people, would become the same type. All of them would band together. And as it is eroding the principles, the dharma, the concept of accountability, karma, people will do as they want. Men will be like women, women will be like men. Nobody is caring for the family. A person would be deprived of the adoration of their parents, and they would not adore their own parents. The teacher is not going to care for the student is not going to care for the teacher. They would lose the attitude to know about God, the Guru, the guest, where they could find some semblance of blessing. Those things will go out the door. When the land becomes deprived of truthfulness, you will start to see trees losing their fruits. Rivers would become more and more dry. Life would start to become very difficult. The knowledge of the Ved, the Brahmana, would become deprived of this as it will slowly ebb out. So I remember I was talking about sanskar, and for some reason, some people got it in their head, can't remember who said it, that somebody, Baba, people is talking about Baba said, I was doing Garbhadan sanskar explanation. That is when the father and the mother are ready to conceive their baby. And there's a full procedure to do it. Somebody said, Baba, but I've heard, let me be polite, I've heard that nowadays we don't do those sanskars anymore. We don't do those sanskars anymore. But we do funeral and wedding. They're the big ones. So my point is this. If you understand how a sanskar is a prayer, it's a ritual to purify yourself of sin and past karma so that your experience must be a better one, which one would you rob your child? Forget yourself, me and you have no value. When you're cutting the hair for the first time, when you're putting the name, when you're feeding them to bless the mouth, the stomach, the esophagus, the intestines. Guru, if the child wears Janeu, to be cast, to be purified of the sins from a previous birth. Instead, it seems as if you want to rob people of the opportunity to do these prayers. And this is what he's saying. Political leaders, kings will become weak to the influence of unrighteous people. There would be classless society. People's word had no value. People would fall for bribes and threats. It would become the way of the day. The son would torture the father. And similarly, the pupil will misbehave with the teacher. Treat the teacher like a servant with no regard. In the last phase of Kali Yuga, all sinners would be destroyed. Verse, this is what, 35, chapter 127, Krishna Janam Khan. In the last phase of Kali Yuga, there would be hunger, famine, and hardship. Some of them would be destroyed with scorching heat of the sun, whilst others would be destroyed with the overflowing of water. Water becomes the destroyer. O Nanda Baba, the earth will be destroyed in Kali Yuga. And at that time, creation, seeds of truthfulness, women with the righteous parameters, again will bring forward life. Life will be cyclic, it will restart, but it starts with a purifying cataclysmic event. That is when Kali Yuga is going to finish. Pralaya starts, everything is reabsorbed, and the mechanics of Lord Vishnu start to spring forward Sat Yuga again. In that moment, Nanda Baba, bowing to Krishna, he's in shock at what he's hearing. He didn't see him for some time, and it come now like he just come to spring this on him. If you've ever heard this discourse, or this is the first time, please leave me a comment. If you have any questions or you would like to request a discourse, give me an idea. I'll gladly read it for you. In the meantime, while they were talking, as Nanda Baba is in amazement still, a huge aerial chariot. This is one case where people say that Hindus in these times, 5,000 years ago, the other day we celebrated Geeta Jayanti, and I can't remember the exact figure, but the Geeta this year celebrated 5,600, I think 85, I could be corrected on that, anniversaries. So this is 5,000 years ago, and you're talking about a flying chariot, 5 yojan in length, 4 yojan in width, crystals embedded in this flying structure. Hanging all over was parijat flowers, like in garlands. It had all forms of riches. It was studded with thrones, with gold for all to sit. Decorated with fine garments, you could imagine. And all the cow herders, all the people of Golok saw this huge chariot come in the sky and land where they could walk onto. At the command of Krishna, all the people mounted said chariot and they went to Golok. O Narad, Radha Kalavati, who deserves to be thanked because this entire thing happened because of their doing, were never born from any human womb. Both of them were born without any human contact. The spouses of Shrutis had appeared in their form. They also shedding their human garb now, looking at the Devis that they were, went leading because they left Krishna on the earth. He remains back. He still has things to do. But Radha now, she's in charge of everybody, and they went to Golok with the people of Gokul. On their way, they passed over the Vidaj river, and they stopped and they paid homage to that water before crossing into the mountains of 100 peaks, that region. There they found the Ras Mandal, the place, as they entered into Golok, decorated and prepared, and surrounded, gathered under that same type of banyan tree that is so huge in height and width. This is where they would dance. This is where Radha was created out of the body of Krishna. Fruits, red in color, decorated the trees, charming. Vrinda, or that person we now call Tulsi, she was there waiting on them. She received them. Still very, because there are discourses to explain that relationship with Radha. Finding her there, Radha at once descended the chariot, went to her with love and grace. And Vrinda on her part bowed to Mother Radha, talking to her, and took her to her place. Radha, together with Vrinda and all others, made special arrangement for all those that had come from Gokul, the friends of Krishna. When they arrived into that inner sanctum, that inner area of Golok, Radha arranged for all of them to have their own place, their own homes, comforts, etc. And it brought great love and joy to Radhika Devi to take care of Nanda and Yashoda. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So that brings me to the end of chapter 128. Just now I said 127, but 128 in Brahmavaivat Puran. So remember, when he talks about the Vrat, we're talking about the Safal Ekadashi Vrat. That's tomorrow, starting at 8:43 Trinidad time. We enter into Garud Puran in this last chapter of this text. Garud is asking about, tell me by what means is a person released from this form of suffering. I want to read something for you. Having worn, jump into verse 12, having worn and cast aside the four sorts of bodies thousands of times, the bodies, worms, birds, ruminant goats with the multiple stomachs, cows, etc. One becomes a person, a human being, by good deeds. He becomes a person who is knowledgeable or a knower, meaning he knows the truth about the soul in his body, where is God, etc. He's a knower, and because of that knowledge, that karma, he's able to find mukti out of all these different forms of life. The embodied, meaning the different bodies with the soul inside, in the 8400 thousands of the bodies that are created in this life, all the different worms, birds, species that exist, attaining the human birth can obtain all, there's no limit to what a person could do in this human birth. If used correctly, this body is very, very, valuable. Through millions of thousands of births, it is only once a person might be credited with the opportunity to be born as a human. It comes after a great amount of accumulation of positive merit. He who, having obtained this body, human body, which is difficult to get, and it is the last step to liberation, does not help himself, who in this world is more sinful than he? If a person has this human birth with the, could you imagine tomorrow we put our hands together to pray to Lord Vishnu, and a worm can't do this, a bird can't do this. We would like to think that our pets are very intelligent, and I'm sure they are, but the way a human would pray and sometimes tears run from their eyes with devotion, that is unique to human. The man who, having obtained the highest birth, superior senses, does not understand what is the benefit of this body and the soul and the migration, it is as if he's the killer of a prayerful person, Brahman. Without a body, nobody obtains the object of this human life. So what is the object of the human life? Therefore, you should guard your body as wealth and perform meritorious deeds. He should always guard his body, which is the means, it's the vehicle to attain everything. Whilst life is within the body, he should make every effort to protect it in the view of welfare. A village again, a field again, wealth will come again, house could build again, good and bad actions that could do again. But in body, this life in this form with your name, that is not going to happen again. The wise people always adopt means for the preservation of the body. Even if a person is riddled with a disease, even in that instance, the person does not wish to give up. This should be guarded for the sake of duty, duty for the sake of knowledge, knowledge for the sake of practicing the knowledge. Then that person gets released. Let me go over that line. The body is a tool, just as how we might say spoon, fork, whatsoever is a tool to use. And you use the body to do what? To find out knowledge, to grow, not only in the secular side of the job and life lessons and the gym and all the things that we learn to drive, etc. But things, I guess maybe when you reach to that point, I don't want to say at age, because there are some children who have that inner light to aspire to greatness. So let's not put an age. When you reach to that point, when you are ready to have that knowledge, and the knowledge is what? The spiritual side that allows you beyond your end date. What next? You take that knowledge and you start to practice it. Let's pretend we are doing, he gives it in Geeta in full detail, the different routes. When they hear about yoga, people tend to think yoga means you're going to bend your foot and twist your body. But no, yoga translates from Geeta perspective in the different pathways you take to reach to God. So I like to sing for God, that's bhakti. Yoga, I like to, I'm a plumber and I like to do service, so I'll do this in charity, or I'll help them out with the fixing of the roof. Seva, that's karma yoga. I like to read about my God. Gyan yoga, sanka yoga. I like to do something. In this way, you're finding your route, your access way, your alley to God. So you practice what you fall in love with. If you're a BD singer, do it not for everybody to say, wow, you can really sing. Or, Krishna, I hope you like that song. Because I sang that song, croaky as it was, I sang that song for you. So maybe it's a good idea for you to evaluate yourself. Are you using the time adequately? Just a question. When you practice the yoga or your way of praying, then soon you get released. If he does not, and when I say he, meaning man or woman, if the person does not guard themselves against harm, who else is going to do it? Therefore, should he look after his own benefit? He who does not take precaution against the diseases of hell, while here, afflicted with disease, having gone to a country where there is no medicine, what will he do? I follow me garden there, boy. So I went and I risked my health because I couldn't do without that Boxing Day sale. I did not see the need to stay away. I did not try to protect. There's a line in this text where we talked about the parents. Somebody called me yesterday and they said, Baba, my mother and my father, they want to cover them. They want to wear the mask. That will affect them. They live a whole life. They're living in the house with the younger people, but they don't see the sense in following the rules. And I'm sure you could leave me a message tonight if you're having the same problem. Because the request for the discourse was, Baba, it is only say good children is listen to mother and father. But what about when mother and father get a little old and they want to have people over and they don't want to, to do things normal, and they're breaking rules. They're not thinking about the sickness that could come in, especially in these times. What do we do then? So we had to do that discourse. That's a nice discourse. If he does not guard himself against the harm, who is going to do it? And what does he talk about? The diseases of hell. How does disease come from hell? The workers of Yamraj. That is what I said before. That is where it is coming from. There are people who will get sick. Some will fight and some will win. There are some people, unfortunately, they're not going to win. There are some people who will take the vaccine and be good. And there are some people that will take the vaccine and will not be good. As a Hindu perspective, it is being caused by karma. So we must do what we could do to beat that karma. Further, old age comes like a tigress. Life goes out of this body just as water leaves are broken. Imagine you have a goblet, crack a little hole in it and so fast water come out. This life will rush from this body. Disease will attack your body like foes with knives to stab you and destroy you. Therefore, he should strive for the best. So long as misery does not come, so long as calamity does not befall that person, so long as the senses are not failing, eyesight, hearing, taste, etc., so long should he strive to be the best that he or she could do. Don't wait thinking tomorrow. You hear about that just now. So long as the body lasts, so long should truth be pursued. Don't think one day I will do that. Now is the time. Are you really sure for tomorrow? The stupid man digs a well in the corner of his home or property when the house is already on fire. The time of death is not known by those who are variously embodied in this world of change. Alas, a man between happiness and misery does not know his own benefit. You think you want something? We all do it. We all do it. I'm guilty of it myself. We all want something, but it may not be the best thing for us. We still want to do it. And when we get it, more misery. When we lose, we want the house, you can't maintain the house, you reach a point you can't come up the step. So you grieve. And what's the fact? One day you have to give up the house. You have to stop driving the car. You have to give it away. These things you're holding it only to give somebody else it. Those seeing those just born, the afflicted, the dead, those who have calamity befall them, sickness, trouble, difficulty, financial ruin, people are never afraid, having drunk, as it were, the liquor of delusion. Riches are like a dream. Youth is like a flower, it will fail. Life is fickle as lightning. Even if a person is blessed with 100 years of life, this is very little in Kali Yuga. Half of this life is spent in sleep, idleness, never achieving anything. Even that little is unfruitful owing to the miseries of childhood, disease, and old age. How much can you do in those age? What is the miseries? Imagine you're a child that can't talk yet. You can't say, "Mommy, our aunt's biting me." But you're left at the mercy of the parent that you have. The old lady, she lie down and she pampers, and she need the pampers changed, but nobody cares for her anymore. She's treated, in the earlier part, they say sinful people are treated like a house dog that has lost the bark and the teeth. Because they are no longer in charge, maybe they sign away the house and the money and all that, leave she there. The miseries of childhood and disease. He does not know what is to be done. When should he be awake? When he should sleep? What is not restricted? How shall the individual who has taken a body which is like foam on the water and is attached to all the passing objects be free from fear? What does that mean? You don't realize how short life is, but you're busy trying to hold on to things, because that is all we do. We went Boxing Day to buy things. We need to have things, and as much as I have things, then I will be happy. What Krishna says here and what he says in Gita is that those same things that you think will bring happiness will be your sadness, because one day you will not be able to hold on to them. One day you will not be able to carry them. He who does not know what is good for him thinks the harmful thing to be beneficial, the impermanent thing to be good, the evil thing to be good. Though seeing this, he falters. Though hearing it, he does not understand it. Though reading it, he does not want to know it. Bewildered by if it was the divine magic, or what we will hear about, the Vishnu Maya, or the blindness that Devi caused people. This universe is immersed in boundless ocean of death. Though grasped by crocodiles of death, disease, and old age, he still does not understand. Time, though wearing away with every moment, is unnoticed. Just as an unbaked pot placed in water disappears. Air may be inside the pot, air may be spitted out, waves may be bound. Life cannot be made permanent regardless of how nice the pot is. It has to come out. The wolf of death forcibly slays the lamb of a mortal. So death is the wolf. See the image in your mind, eh? The big one biting the little nice lamb. That's the mortal person. That's me and you. Who constantly repeats while he's being bit and dying. Eh? So imagine something snap your neck here and life is coming out of your body. And what you going to study? My children. And he says it here. The offspring. The wife or the husband. What about my wealth? What I going to do with my money? What I going to do with my family? I didn't see this one. I want to see that one. This has to be done, and in quotation marks here. This will be done. This is still outstanding. This needs to be done. Who is in this prating debt? In this moment, death is squeezing life out of this person and is overpowering him. This must be done tomorrow. This must be done today, in the morning, tomorrow afternoon. But what is the truth? Death does not consider what has to be done, nor what is not to be done. Thou shalt encounter the enemy. Death is coming. Who is coming for sure? But you don't know what age he's going to come. Who has an army of dreadful disease in his repertoire to release upon you and I. Will thou not look for your Savior? Death preys upon the man afflicted with needles of thirst, bitten by serpents that kill and numb the sense object, and bake in the fire of desire and repulsion. Death attacks children, young men, old, those in the embryonic stage, those in this world of creatures. This individual leaving this body goes back to the house of Yamraj. What is the good of associating with wife, mother, father, son, and others? This world of change is verily the root of misery. Because you have it today. Why is it change? You have it today, but you're going to have it tomorrow. We tend to think we know what we're doing. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. We all know what we're doing. If I carry prayer now to go and make dal pray, she know what she doing. If I carry the woodworker to make something on the lathe, he know what he doing. Everybody know. But you know when we don't take on what we really know. One day, we all born, and one day we all going to die. And in that box, you can't carry the bank account. You could try. I see people doing funeral now with gold chains. I don't know. But I don't feel like a reach farther than the guy who is coming to, if you don't reach by the creek fast enough, He would just push it off the side. Let me show you the gold part, but you know what I mean. He who abandons it, all the attachments, becomes happy. Otherwise, you'll never really be happy. You'll always be happy for a while, and then you'll be sad because you lost it, or you can't use it, or you can't play with it. Like a child getting a toy. You want the toy, you love the toy, you want the toy, you want the toy. And then the toy break, or it get damaged, or the battery dead, and you can't enjoy the toy again. So it's sad. What the child is going to do? You want next toy. And then we're happy again. And then the toy get mash up or something. Somebody got thief the toy, something happen. And you get sad again. When writers talk about this earth is truly the hell, it looks like it might have some truth to that. After all, depending on your karma, so your experience will be. But just as you come, you have to go. Just as you come, you have to go. Meaning, empty-handed. In fact, in chapter 15, I believe it is, Lord Vishnu tells Guru, the only thing that goes with you into that fire is your good and your bad deeds. Not your surname in the house. I'll read it for you next month, family. In the house of Yamraj, he says, the only thing that goes with you in that family, no matter how much the family love you, when the fire roars, when the body starts to smell, they turn their face away and they forget you there. But in the flames that your body is now being burnt, only good karma and bad karma is going. Good karma, bad karma. In this world of change, which is the source of all the misery, the seat of all calamities, and the ability to have refuge from sin. A man who is bound in the fetters, clad, chains, iron, may be released from those fetters. But he cannot free himself from the attachments that we sometimes hold to the family, the relatives, these people. Principle of Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. For this reason, you find people don't understand what is good and what is not good for them, who constantly pursue evil courses and are intent on filling of the belly, and that is the only thing in their life. These people are destined to, go to Narak, get punishment, come back on youth. Some people, life is only about sleeping, sexual pleasure, eating like animals. Who possess knowledge, he is called a man who is not a beast, because there are many people in human form, but they act like beasts. Foolish men are tormented. Whether it is for the nature call, running to the restroom, hunger, thirst, passion in the night, oversleeping, they are never in control of their body. All those beings find things to adorn their body, wealth, wife, other things, and die continuing in that ignorance. Therefore, a person should try to attach themselves to the knowledge that Lord Krishna was talking about here. Therefore, friendship with great people or people who grow you to attach yourself to God should be cultivated. And this will help you remedy the attachment to the wrong things. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Today I was watching a TV show, and sometimes we do things, but we don't really think about what we're doing. We'll say the funeral, because the funeral now is, we're up in arms because the government in Trinidad has found some scientific fire that could only be found in a crematorium, that the level of fire that is burning the human body in an open air pyre is different. The quality of the flame, I do not know the science. It does not make sense to me. I understand to open the box. I could understand all that. But the cost that some people have to pay, which is a different discourse, but it seems hurtful. It is ridiculous and disrespectful that people are being, treated like this. But we will deal with that. Funeral is supposed to be a sanskar again, where you are firstly getting rid of this body, returning it to the elements and all that, so that the soul no longer has a method or a means or anything to possess to come back. Then there are rites to purify, and you're doing prayers to uplift. In karma, because everything we've talked about looks very bleak, what's the answer to overcoming some of the karma? Whilst life is within your body, because we do it when you die, whilst life is within your body, there's a type of karma called praschit. Praschit karma means repenting. Praschit karma means, you know what? Things are looking too good. My neighbor them sick. My family up the road sick. Before anything bad happen, meaning things are not bad yet. I have a job, thank you God for my job. My children doing good in school, thank you God. They have a good behavior, they have respect for me and the husband, thank you God. Let me keep it going good. People get up and they do Gayatri job, they get up and they say their prayers, they do Guru mantra. Just reach out to your Guru. Reach out to me if you want. You want guidance, you want some advice, you want to talk. And I mean when I say if you want to talk, feel free. I'll put up my number. If you don't know my number, I think everybody should know my number and my WhatsApp and all that. But if you don't have it, send a message even right here on Facebook. The guidance is not the issue. Long time, my pundit will teach me nothing. That was the excuse. And remember saying them kind of thing? My pundit don't teach me nothing. And my pundit don't teach me nothing. Well, we had to kick out that through the door. Because now pundits on these mediums, I have to say this younger generation of pundits, younger than myself and my age, are doing quite a lot to help and uplift people anywhere that wants guidance, they could get it. So let's just harp on one little thing. Let me say Gayatri jap. A person could get up in the privacy of their home and say their prayers. A person could get up and read Geeta. Even in the ashram, we're doing online courses. I believe I posted it, I'll post it again. For everybody, regardless of where you're from, because it's online. Ramayana, Hindi, Geeta, taught by trained people. I'm a student. Don't look at me. I'm just a student. I'm learning just like everybody else. We're doing cooking, time, sari, little short courses, Havan and so on. We even wanted to start science, normal secular studies to guide children, to help children. So if a person gets up and they start to change, and you want to read your Geeta, your Ramayana, whatever draws to you, what speaks to you, what is your yoga, your way. I'm not talking about singing for the John public. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about doing it for your God. Then you can erode the past karma. For example, when I talk about the Gayatri, every time you chant Gayatri, we are told you're burning out the sin for 24 hours. For this reason, all Brahman, all Pandit are supposed to get up on a daily basis and do their Gayatri. The sins that we accumulate or have accumulated that cause pain and trouble and strife in your life, that is the role of your prayers. After listening to what Krishna says in that discourse and Gurud Puran in some of that chapter, the answer is this: why do you pray? And you need to pray more when bad things start to happen, unless it's just going to get worse. Because that prayer is saying, dear God, let me read into the prayers. Dear God, You bless me with $5 in my pocket. Thank you for that, Lakshmi Mata. Accept my prayers, my flowers, the nectar in the flowers, it's sweet. And karma says, how I give is so you give me back. Please accept it, but change this $5 into $500. Think about every time you go to pray. The child gone. I remember in my time, I was a weak math student. Strong in English, but weak in math. And I prayed hard using Saraswati Bij mantra and Ganesh mantra and all these things. For all the parents, the New Year is coming. New Year's resolution has to do with schoolwork. We need them to buck up, else we're going to have a brain drain soon. Please, if you'd like to take part in the classes, just send me a message. We're willing to help. I remember I sat and I would do Hawan. In my case, I did Hawan every day for my Form 5 year. And I prayed, dear God, just give me 2 in maths. Please, just give me 2 in maths. And I get the 2. Just what you pray for, you get that. And the reason that you're able to change your life or have, let's use an English word, the miracle. Do you believe in miracles? When things look dismal and bleak like how they're looking right now, it's very hard to have hope. But if you believe in the power of your prayer, if you believe that you could make a difference just in your life, don't worry about nobody else, your life, then you could believe in a miracle, because my God, He works. Hanuman Baba works. Krishna works. You just have to know how to get that karma off your back. We believe in serving the guests, sharing food when I have prayers. Geeta says no puja is complete if food is not served to 1 or 1,000. But when you're doing it, do it with regard, do it the correct way. There are different ways a person could burn away karma, and maybe all the Babas are saying it. I don't know how many people are listening. Puja is just one way. Reading your Gita, doing your job, saying your prayers with no ingredients. You don't have to. You sit down reading your Gayatri and you just need maybe your fingers, your jap mala, whatever you have. But you don't have to get cinder and flowers for that. What is the excuse? But it seems that Garpran is dead on, because people don't know what is good for them and what is not good for them, what should be their priority and what is not their priority. But then, when troubles come and things are looking very bad, Baba, somebody do me something. Baba, the neighbor do me something. Oh God, Baba. The neighbor prayers. Listen how the thing is. The neighbor prayers, whatever Simidimi, voodoo, black magic, whatever them people doing, you have more faith in that prayers than in your own prayers. And these are the little things that cause problems in Kali Yuga. When will it be enough for you to say as a person, listen, I believe when I fly my Hanuman flag over my house, just as he tell Arjun in Mahabharata, I will support your chariot, and wherever you go in your battle, and every day me and you have a battle to face in this life to get home safely on the roadways, with colleagues, with people, with bills, with everything. Hanuman Baba, you fly over me and protect me. I believe in that. But when bad things happen, we tend to throw away our beliefs and we want to pass blame. Remember, this is Kali Yuga, that's what he's saying here. And you're living in a testy and tested time, and you're currently being tested, and what you have to do is to hold to your dharma. Krishna is still worshipped on this earth. Tulsi still lives, Ganga is flowing. No matter what people are throwing in that Ganga, she's still there. And there are many people right now going through a lot of pain. And tonight, as I join with the Harnarine family, I am speaking to everybody, whoever is watching, but now on the replay. We don't have to fall prey to the diseases that are coming out of Narak, or the hold of Yamraj. If only we could change. Easy to say, hard to do. I agree. But If there are those that would like more information on little things that you could do, for example, Shani Devta, he is responsible for making hard to heal disease. It ravishes the body and it seems as if the doctor becomes blind. So if a person would do Shani Bij mantra, you'd be able to see the doctor starts to fix and administer medicine quickly, and the time to heal gets very short. Brihaspati is in charge of lung-related inflammation, lung-related ailments. If you do his job and you feed different things to fishes, you'll be able to overcome impediments there. There are prayers for these things. If you would like, and I'm saying it to everybody, but you know, not everybody going to care, even if it's to help themselves. That is too much work, Baba. And just as Lord Vishnu told the Buddha, I'm saying it now, there's nothing about forcing anybody to pray in any way that I, Pt.Keshava, is saying, Hindu or otherwise. Me personally, I do prayers for Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, everybody. Every race, man, woman, everybody. But you have to want that help. If you call a priest, pundit, whatsoever, like a doctor, you know, you go to a doc, I have a fever, boy, what you could give me? Doc says, here, take this tablet, call me after 2 days. Think about it, you take the tablet. Do you doubt the tablet? The first step. And you have to trust that this medicine is going to make a difference in my feelings and my experience. And you take the tablet out of good faith. I trust that doctor. And you hope for the best. Prayers on the other hand. Pundit, I have so problem. Please help me. Please guide me on what to do. So the obvious answer is to pray. Pundit, give me this mantra. You can't pronounce that. Pundit, give me the fast. I can't do that. Fasting, I can't do that. This is too hard. This will not work. A lungs problem can't work with a one-line mantra. I don't see how fasting will help my sickness. All right. So when you throw away the prayers or the doctor medication, then you would have to hope for the best. Some people will overcome, depending on what you're fighting. Some people will not. Just where I started. Some people will not. Funeral, just to show you how we get it confused. I remember prior to COVID, me and Guru Mai were coming home. I believe we were coming from England, India through England. And we met this attorney on the flight. He recognized me from Satsang. And he comes up to me. I think I was halfway through sleep. Pandit, you have to read this. It was an article in the Times magazine at that time. And the writer is talking about how the concept of funeral is changing. So, as I read, I was surprised to see. As a science person, I know that the human body is made up of carbon. Sounds strange, but not the carbon copy paper, carbon the element. And the same carbon is found in many, different things. Diamond, for example, is made from carbon. Just its structure different. So the writer is talking about there's a company out of Europe that they offer this service. I don't know if you've ever heard this. They offer this service where if you cremate your beloved person, they request a certain grammage of the ash. So you have to use a crematorium because they don't want the wood to contaminate that. So just the person's body now is in the ash. And it's a capsule or something you send to them, you ship it off. And what they do through their machinery, they reduce the carbon now and then they restructure the atoms inside. And let's just say this is a gem. They ship back to you after you pay them their fees and so on. They take your deceased person and they transform them into a gem, man-made gem. So some people will say, oh, this is my dad or my son or whosoever. But it is the atoms, the makeup of the person. It goes on to talk about how in another, that I think is Sweden, there's a company that takes the dead. They give you a package, like a Ziploc bag, a crocus bag or something, and you put your deceased in that bag, and they provide the plant and whatsoever, and the bag is stitched around a tree or a plant, and that entire thing is in the ground, so that your deceased, your loved one, now becomes part of this tree as the carbon is being reused. In Hinduism, you have that. I've spoken about how people bury in the Gosine family, so that after a life of doing jap and hawan and all these things, we allow mother to feed off of the body of the Gosine. It sounds strange, but for somebody who never heard about those things, it sounds strange. Is it macabre? Is it wrong to do that? For a Hindu, we say, you know, so long as the ashes is in the water of the Ganga, so long that soul resides with Mahadev Baba by the touch of the Ganges. This is why we just throw the ashes there. But you might say, somebody might say, twisted. If that is the ashes, why we don't store the ashes of our loved one? You know, they come back in an urn when you do cremation abroad. Why we don't keep those ashes in our home? Because those things are considered unclean, and we want to purify the home. But in Hinduism, we have our share of craziness, and I'm touching on it for this reason. Someone asked me about tomorrow night. I'm on as well. I'm reading 3 nights for my godson. He has died, and I was looking at his funeral, but it so happened somebody asked me, well, Pandit, the new procedure for doing funeral, and this is for that question, I see they're doing something on top of the clothes box, but that is not the norm. We're not familiar with that procedure. And the logic is this. Garpuran talks about different types of funeral. If a child, before the child could speak, it does not have teeth, we don't do all the 10 days, 13 days of a pinda, all that. We just dispose of the body, usually by burial, and that is fine. If a newborn or a miscarriage occurs, same thing. How to do a funeral if mother and father die together? In terms of, well, the boy, how does he conduct, those ceremonies, pinda wise, fasting wise, etc. And then there's the section that deals with if somebody dies in war or they drown and you cannot get the body. So in that instance, according to Garud Puran again, you take a clump of, I think they said kush grass or doob grass, could be corrected on that. You make a bundle. In nowadays COVID deaths, you will see them put it on top of the casket. This becomes the body. They chant what is called a sankalp, and they ask the energy of the Jeev to sit here and witness what is about to happen. The energies of God, etc., is really what we are worshipping. The 5 elements: Ganesh, Durga, Shiva, Vishnu, and Surya. Fire, wind, air, water, etc. Except Chandan on the bundle, perfume, a flower. They put the mala, the arti, everything. And then they would put the pinda. Sometimes you see the pundit put it in a line. There are some pundits who just want to do it like how it would have been put in the body, in the casket, sorry, around the body by the neck, 2 arms, etc. More or less, that's it. Is it a strange thing to see a funeral finish in 10 minutes? The COVID has put us there, but the truth is that funeral is supposed to be dangerously short. When Hindus, because we don't understand why we put the gobar inside the casket or the kush grass in the traveling with the body, when all these things are factored in, but then you are standing over the body. Imagine us saying, don't cry. And that's what Garud Puran, they say, control your tears. Don't let your soul fall on the box. Don't let it contaminate the box. Don't hold back the soul. The soul watching you. Garud Puran talks about that, the sinful family. Oh God, Pa, where you going? Where you going, Pa? Oh God. Don't cry, don't cry. But remember how Pa did nice, and Pa did this, and Pa did that. And it is as if the conversation is, yes, it is the truth, but it is a little out of timing. Because we want to get through with this part quick. You see, when time for Pa Bandara to do, and we have done all the offerings and everything is ready, packed, and it is time for him to go, that's the time. If you want to reminisce, read your eulogy, do whatever you want. You do not need a dead body to read a eulogy. Now we have gone back to the basics in Hinduism. Now we are doing just what is necessary. We are doing this shortened procedure. The god is worshipped, the body is purified, and it is burnt. My only issue is by only causing people to spend a lot of money in using the crematorium alone is the option in that. But do we do things that are sometimes macabre and crazy? Yes, we do. Think about this. I was watching a show today and I saw it. We claim we understand that and we understand what is happening and what is going on. But what happens when you dress up the dead? What is going on when you put the pillow for the dead man's head? There are people who will put gold chain and people who want to put alcohol and perfume and all these amenities. There was a time when the dead man, there's no life anybody, the person you love is not there, but that person had to take back cinder. Do you remember the days when the dead body had to go inside the house? You know why? Because the funeral is partly a process to get the soul to travel, to go. Hence, we just out the day. You know, when you now start, it's like the day on the Khalsa. But when the prayers do, you just out the day to tell the soul, okay, you could leave now. But, you know, the man might be attached to that house and the man might be attached to the children. So you pass the newborn baby over the box so the man could see the baby and would not be attached to the child. Or carry him into the house, regardless the stress you gotta go through, for him to see the house one last time. Oh, Papa, look at this question. Go and carry him inside the house for him to see the house. Listen to what I'm saying, eh? For him to see the house one last time. He did love that house, but he didn't get to sleep in that house. He did anybody, right? Think what I'm saying? He did anybody. So my dear friend from one of my classes, Liba, is with me tonight. Sitaram Lib. Can you talk about kissing the dead? First of all, the body is considered to be unclean. It is not alive. It is not positive. Secondly, the mucus, the spittle, when we talk, when we bawl, when we cry, the mucus, the bodily fluids that we would emit is what is going to contaminate this thing that is going to be offered into the fire. So there because she's asking talk about kissing the dead, that shouldn't be done. We have bathed this body prior, normal circumstance now, let's leave out COVID for 1 second. The family who knows about these things, they go to the funeral home and they want to bathe the body with milk. Imagine the boy getting married for his wedding day. You know how on the Sunday traditional wedding, we just bathe them with milk and the dahi and all them things to clean them, prepare them that you are at your best from an aura, from an energy perspective, not only physical dirt, but these things that come from the cow is things that remove spiritual impurity as well. That is why we use milk and not only soap and water. The morning for the funeral, the same thing happens. The person goes and they massage. This is their loved one. This is the person. That is the time to touch. But we are going from unclean. They just came out of the refrigerator. Their bodies, however, you know, and we want to get you spiritually ready to get ready to go and do your prayers. So they bathe the person with the different ingredients. In this, they use cow urine, gobar, milk, dahi, ghee, panchgavya. The 5 things that could come from a cow. This is what they're supposed to. And you rub the body, and yes, you might put a little soap to help cut the little oil, if it depends on how much you throw, and then you wash down the body. The body is now ready. In the casket, you would put gobar and kush grass so that wherever the body is going, let's say the drive from the funeral home to the house, nothing mustn't contaminate lost souls. They see something like parsad, something is clean, fresh, they want to jutta it. The body I'm referring to. So those things are placed there to ward that off. So imagine when the body reaches to the home now, and right where we just put the casket, we just put gobar, again like a guard. So when you dress ma and pa in their clothes, it is a covering. That's all. Think about, and everybody, with all respect and love and everything, the day for you to dress your son like a dollar or the female like a dollar hen is not the day she's going to be burnt. I do a lot of funeral for a lot of people in my time. And you see that part in this text where it talks about not knowing when is the right time to do something? People never get to wear their niceties and their nice things in this life. But in their coffin, they want to wear it that time. Does that make sense? For me, I always tell prayer, the day I close my eye, put me in a dhoti and a merino. Simple. Simple is not a bad thing. Who says I have to wear, for every man who is watching this satsang tonight, when I was getting married, you see that cap thing, that imitation pagri they make us wear? No, because it's so popular now. I hated that. Please, not necessary. The time for making pa and ma look their best is not when they're dead, but when they're living. Maybe that should be our focus. Making them comfortable. Putting that pillow is not going to help a body that does not have a life in it. Make the time to buy them the best pillow while life is within their body. That might make more sense. What you're trying to do, you did not do it while you had the chance. So now they're dead, you're trying to put all the niceties. And if we are brutally honest, that's the truth. So that she looks nice. So that we will feel better because we sent her off nice, regardless to how life was to her. All the noise, all the music truck, all the tassa is not going to bring back life in that body. But it becomes like an ego trip. I could show people we can spend money. I don't understand the logic. It's not prayers. There isn't one mantra. You have no idea what it is like to be upon it trying to say a mantra. And there are two trucks blaring music. There's a Micah playing Jim Reeves. There's a tassa side that will not stop. And you're trying to converse with the person doing the prayers that will definitely help the soul. And for nothing they can hear you because of all the distractions. Just out of place. But many people don't see it that way. So, forgive me. The kissing is also a form of, after you bathe that body and you prepare that body, you went and you put germs on the body. So you contaminate this thing that is going to go into the fire. So then it comes just like if you spit on the person or imagine your tears and you touch the person in a different way, you are adding, let's say, the bacterial load to that person that we want, that body that we want to put in the fire. You're affecting the purity that we tried with prayers, the funeral home bathed. We did everything we could do to encourage sanctification. Kiss people while they're alive. In fact, you're not supposed to even bow to the dead. Did you know that? What are you bowing to? Who are you bowing to? I bow to my father and mother foot. I bow to my pundit foot. But when there's no pundit, no jivatma inside that body, when you do your arati, if you go to put your flowers, please remember that. There's a decorum, there's a code of ethics that follow behavior. Tonight, as I conclude, please consider what I'm saying. Even in funeral, people's opinion contaminate, pollute the quality of funerals that you have. Praise is supposed to be praise, not a circus. Praise is supposed to be your mantras, your calmness in yoga, in jap, in any circle. You're supposed to be serene. You're supposed to be able to focus. not vibrate with the speakers and drag racing and all these other things. The purpose of the funeral is supposed to give the soul some solace that, listen, we're doing this for your benefit. As you leave, as you go, know that we will take care of you. But when, maybe it's Kali Yuga according to what Krishna is talking about tonight, maybe it is the time, the styles, the funeral becomes an ego trip. That we love you so much, we must do this and we must do that. And the focus becomes everything else but the prayers. Do you know how many people till this day would not, they're doing the main part or they want to do it, they will not fast, they will not, you know, let me say, just take a break from the wife and sleep in with the wife, to be quite honest. They would not shave their hair, they would not do it properly. But I do any prayers for him, how you get it, but I do any prayers, But everything else, that becomes important, paramount. Now tonight I just touching on this because this is just one example of one way where in real time you could see the change that we are currently going through in the, let's say, the erosion of our funeral service compared to times that we father and mother, 50s, 60s, etc. From everything from the dress of the people who go to the funeral ground, the way people carry themselves with a certain amount of respect for the dead. Till this day, if I'm driving my car, and, I mean, not in bonded mode, just driving, and a hearse is passing, my mother will still tell me, alright, let that hearse pass. Those things are changing. Are you seeing the change? Are you seeing the erosion Lord Krishna is talking about? And what are you doing? Forget pundit, forget everybody. What are you doing to safeguard yourself? Think about that. You're holding on to son and daughter, and based on tonight's discourse, son and daughter and family. That's your priority. Get the car, get the house, get the money, get this, and then I'll be happy. When I get that, I'll be happy. When I get that, when I get my degree, I'll be happy. Then, okay, you get a degree, then it's just a worthless piece of paper because I get a job. When I get a job, I'll be happy. But then I hate this job because they paid me enough. When I get married, I'll be happy. Well, then trouble start. Then, when I get children, I'll be happy. And, oh God, the children come with bills. Oh God. When I retire, I'll be happy. When I retire, what to do now? At what point will you be happy? If you keep looking to gather things, you know, when we see the vagrant side of the road skiffling through for iron and a bottle or a can, we look at that man like he's mad, eh? He's crazy. What are you doing that for? When you see some people live, the way they treat this life is like, gimme, grab. I get this, I get that. Oh God, this good, but look what he have there, what he want. In a sense, didn't we do the same thing? Tonight, I want to conclude, time run away from him. To the Harnarine family, God bless all and God bless the soul of your departed one. Always a pleasure to support all. To everybody else, this discourse answered a question: how did Nanda and Yashoda story, how did that end? And you've heard it for yourself with the warning of Krishna. As he's an adult married man, he comes back and he takes all of them to Golok. That came from Brahmavaivat Puran. And then we spoke about how confused in this Kali Yuga life is by the Maya of Devi, and what we have to do to overcome that confusion if we want to get liberation and happiness. Otherwise, we are just going through life, going through, you know, these motions, focusing on eating, sex, family dispute, fighting for 5 feet of land, etc. And you would miss your life. He says, even if 100 years comes to you, if you have so long, half of that is in sleep. We lose a lot of time in old age and babyhood, childhood, etc. So how much actual time do you have? It's not so much. You will always feel like you didn't achieve. So what do you need to achieve? Find the truth, finding knowledge. Spend time with people who can lift you. Not show you how to make more money. Money is good, but money can't be all in your life. People who could lift you spiritually, give you that little edge so that you'll find the contentment that you're looking for. Because you could work for money and still pray. You could work for money and use it to help give to somebody who needs food. You could do good with money. But just don't become a slave to it. Become a slave to this guy. He says, whatever you're doing, Geeta, final point. Whatever you're doing, he said it in the beginning there, and I'm saying it here again. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're eating, whatever you're drinking, whatever you're talking about, you know, good night, God, I'm going to my bed now. Dear God, I get up this morning, thank you for next morning. Dear God, thank you for this roti and chana. Everything you do, Krishna upon, thank you, Lord Krishna, thank you, and you build that rapport. You jump in your car, bow. You go in your prayer room, you go in your kitchen, you learn that God is there with you. This is why we just put the pitya and all these things in the car, to help your mind remember He's there with you in a moment of trouble. I hope tonight that these words from our text reverberate with you. I again remind you that tomorrow is Safal Ekadashi. For those people who are going through grief and suffering, anxiety, get up in the morning and do some Gayatri japa. Wonderful opportunity. This day is only going to come one day for this year. You'll wait till December next year, same time, to get it again. If you are going through depression, if you are going through anxiety, tomorrow is your day to pray. Let us not be blind. Let us not be weak. Let us not lose our faith in what we believe in. Your God is capable of overcoming any obstacle, lifting you. You is the person who had to get up and lift yourself using your God. Your God comes just like the fork that you want to get the food from here into your mouth. You use this as a tool to transport that, right? Then use your mantras, use your prayers, use your fasting, use the opportunity, use your yoga to get where you are in the doldrums of life, to get to the point where you are not always sad, hurt, lost. What to do now? How to do now? How to move forward? Come out of that. Tonight, as I come to the end of our session, I again remind you all, tomorrow night I'm starting, I'll do tomorrow night, and we have 3 nights, reading. Again, I'll look for something different. If you're tuning in, God bless you. Okay, so if you're interested in the classes, if you're looking forward to doing anything, if you need help, if you need to talk, please send me a message. I'll post my number. You can WhatsApp me and we'll take it from there. God bless each and every one of you. Be safe. If those of you who are ailing or have a member of the family that is ailing, God bless them from the bottom of our heart, that the power of Hanuman Baba and Krishna Bhagwan will lift them out of it. God bless all those doctors that are trying to do their best. To all my nurses, especially those in San Fernando General, I heard there was some craziness that went on there that put you all at risk. God bless each and every one of you for sacrificing your life for all these people that need your help. Even some people that don't appreciate your sacrifice, God bless you. For those people that have lost somebody in this trying and testing time, God bless them, those souls that have gone on, and God bless you that you'll be able to overcome this time of grief and loss. And for everybody else, please think before you act. Remember what we heard tonight? You're supposed to make good decisions to take care of your body, to secure your body. Give the Boxing Day sale this year a break. And I'm speaking in past tense because there are more things coming up. Be cautious, please. I make a clarion call to everybody in my own little way as a pundit. Please, there are too many funerals. It's too much. The fridges in the funeral home can't hold no more. Too much. Please be cautious. Everybody, be good. Let's say final mantra before we conclude. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Prem Sabal Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Pauna Putra Hanumana ki Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Everybody, Jai Jai Sitaram. Keep good. From me and Priya Mata. Till tomorrow night. God bless you. God bless your family. See you. Sitaram.